Now, culture plays a vital role in forming identity, strengthening social relations, and influencing human interactions with the natural and social environment around it. Through culture, people develop a deep understanding of themselves and recognize their role in the social context. Cultural norms and values play that important role in shaping healthy and harmonious social behavior and relationships. Over the years, people's culture has equally contributed to growing the economy through tourism. Nigeria is reported to have over 300 tribes across 250 ethnic groups with unique culture and interchanging among themselves following intergroup relations. This diversity, to experts, is a huge potential for economic growth if adequately explored. But is the country pushing towards this direction? Stay with us on the spot for answers. Now, my guest is a fellow of the Advertising Regulatory Council of Nigeria and fellow of the Chartered Institute of Administration. He is someone who has also left indelible mark on the telecommunications sector, pioneering the Nigeria Telecom Awards, an event that attracted the presence of 7 African presidents. He is said to have played a pivotal role during the 2013 International Cultural Festival tagged World Songo Festival, which attracted over 20,000 foreigners in Nigeria. On the spot is the Executive Secretary, National Institute for Cultural Orientation, NICO, Otunba Biodun Ajiboye. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Okay. I understand you're a pure cultural man and you have a traditional title.
Yes, I do.
What's the title?
The Otunba Biodun of Oro Kingdom. I'm from Oro in Kwara State. And since I was about 40 or 39 years old, the king gave me the title, which actually, propels my cultural interest considerably.
Okay. You've been doing this for a very long time.
Quite some time. Okay,
let's look at, we are discussing culture here.
Correct.
Let me understand what the Institute, before we go deep into the culture, let's understand the mandate of the Institute.
Okay. Those who thought about the Institute actually thought very well. First of all, the Institute was an answer to UNESCO collaboration in the area of culture in Nigeria. There are conventions, the 2003 and 2005 conventions of the UNESCO. My agency, NICO, is in charge of those conventions. So the intangible cultural heritage and all other things, By this we mean those kind of cultural practices that are not physically, touched, but they account for our way of life in considerable manners. UNESCO recognizes a lot of cultures across the world.
See people acting, immediately they act, that they come from here.
Yes. So, this is the basis of my institute, of National Institute for Cultural Orientation. It's the focal agency for UNESCO on certain conventions. All right. The conceptual meaning or understanding of NICO, National Institute for Cultural Orientation, is simple. I'm sure those who thought about NICO recognize the fact that no nation can grow beyond its naivety without recognizing culture. If you want to grow beyond your God-given natural talent, culture must be something you must recognize.
I think China, India.
China, India, Pakistan, no, but China, India, Malaysia, Japan.
Yes, Japan.
Recognize that their culture should form the basis of their existence. We missed out that because having been colonized, we took after the culture of the English people. So the Nigerian people's culture actually enmeshed between Arabian culture, English culture, and Jewish culture. So we're struggling to actually understand our own cultures properly. The Yoruba people of Nigeria are particularly a race of people who never ever left their culture, regardless of how much Christianity or Islam. In 2013, we did a research when we were going to do the World Shango Festival into almost every homes in Yoruba land, including Edo, Shekiri, Kogi, Kwara. We found out that traditional worship takes the center stage in their lives, regardless of professing to Christianity or Islam. So, that is profound.
Okay, but let me just come in here. If you look at it, the culture hardly leaves people.
But people leave culture.
Thank you. But it seems that Nigerians, the more, should I say, civilized, should I call it? No, I don't think it's that civilization.
The more exposed they think.
And exposed they think, rather than now project their culture, because they see it in other countries, they admire it, but coming to project their own seems to be an issue.
Yes, simple. The reason is very simple. Our psyche had been tinkered with by advent of Christianity and Islam.
Okay, that's why I wanted to know.
No, our psyche as a people has been tweaked to believe that our psychology has been totally destroyed. We are struggling to catch up. People like us who talk about culture as sin, if not for benefit of education, people like us would have been consigned to the garbage. Why? What is he talking about culture? So, the white man came and made you believe less in yourself. They took your psychology, they took your spirituality, they took your originality, they took your identity and left you with nothing. And today you are actually left with nothing. You are dressed here like an Arab. You wear the Arabian cap. The young man there is dressed like an Englishman.
Is a Hausa cap.
Well, I'm struggling to see the distinction between the cultures of the Hausas and Islam. Yeah, I'm struggling.
There's an intergroup relation.
So, we have set up professors to distinguish profoundly the difference between the culture of the northern people of Nigeria, Hausa, Fulani, and Islam.
Okay.
Until we are able to extricate the difference, then we can then begin to talk about the culture of the northern people of Nigeria. It's not their fault. We met strands of lines on our palm. Nobody can account for how it got there. So, you don't blame a man because he's a Christian or because he's a Muslim. His parents handed it over to him.
Okay, how much has the diversity affected this? Because we talk about, there was a time I was in Cross River State. It was almost as if almost every local government has its own language, and then there is some little changes a little bit. And we have about over 300 tribes.
Nigeria is blessed with so many languages and cultures.
This?
See, when they say a cliche like unity in diversity, or our diversity is our strength, the only factor that can propel that cliche is a mono language. That a Maiduguri man walks into Port Harcourt and speaks a language that the Port Harcourt people recognize and understand is the strength. We haven't gotten there. We're still beating around the possibilities. The day we are able to come up with the Nigerian language that everybody will understand, that is the day our cultural diversity, linguistic diversity will be a strength for us. But with respect to culture, Nigeria has not scratched the surface. We don't even understand the importance of culture. But we understand and know that culture is good. But we don't know how to use culture for national development, how to use culture for national economic development. We have not understood that fact. And this is why we are behind as a people.
What should we be doing?
It's very simple. My agency started a lot of that. Now, I just told you, cultural identity is the greatest instrument that defines humanity in any human being. Your humanity is nothing if you have no cultural identity. I want to see you and know where you are from. Once I see you and I know where you are from, I can determine the behavior of your people. This is how they behave. The Tiv people, the Idoma people, the Igala people, the Yoruba people. You have a pattern which your culture only defines. What is culture? A way of life. The language you speak, the food you eat, the dress you wear, your spirituality, your way of thinking. That's what's your culture. So anybody should see you and know you are a Chinese man or a Yoruba man. You see me, you know I'm a Yoruba man by every trapping. The moment you cannot identify who I am, the culture I represent by seeing me, I have lost what they call cultural identity. It's as simple as that. So, we believe that the young people in Nigeria need to be taught our culture absolutely. So we created an academy called Nigerian Academy for Cultural Studies. A monotechnic that a young boy of 18 can get in there, understand our culture, and come up with a certification called National Diploma. And he feels he wants to move further, he goes for a postgraduate diploma. This project has been certified by National Board for Technical Education. Now, the civil service can use the certificate to give you a job and promote you. The cultural industry can embrace the certificate. That is the way to start. The millions of Nigerian youths must first of all be given what we call cultural pride. A man without cultural pride is a man without identity. A man without identity is a man without a future. A man without a future is as good as dead.
I think the challenge most of the Nigerian youths will see here is the fact that, for instance, they acquire that certificate. They'll be asking, what am I going to do with it?
I've just told you what they will do with it. It's a monotechnic.
Where are they going to work?
Why can they not work? Is there anywhere in the world that culture is not necessary? In the ministries, in the diplomatic setting, in the hotels, in the airlines, is there anywhere you don't need somebody who knows culture? Our lawmakers need to know about culture. How do you make laws for a people whose culture you do not understand? Our policemen, our police force should have an idea of culture because they post them around Nigeria. You must know the culture of a people that you are going to, work in their midst. Our military, our diplomats, our civil servants. They must be trained about the culture of the Nigerian people. So when you get to any environment, you can identify with the people. And those are the part of things that we are doing right now. So the Nigerian Academy for Cultural Studies is a monotechnic that will certify and give you a certificate in cultural studies. Now, the issue of comparative culture has come to fore. Why would you think that the English culture is superior to your culture? Why would you think that the Arabian culture is superior to your culture? So you want to greet a man, you say, Salam Alaikum. What language is that? Arabian language. You understand what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is that culture and religion are not the same. We need to distinguish between culture and religion. Therefore, a man who is not proud of his culture is a man who has lost his future. So therefore, when we have this kind of monotechnic and we train people, they graduate. The first thing any human being needs in life is not to keep studying masters to PhD Karl Marx. Why are you studying Karl Marx? Why are you studying Chairman Mao? And you have a certificate, a BSc, an MSc, a PhD studying Karl Marx? So what job do you do with that?
I think if attention is paying to, especially because for Nigerians, what happens at the top equally affects a lot of Nigerians, especially the young ones. You hear statements, I know why I talked about where most of the youth will be asking, where do I work? You hear stakeholders who are there who will be talking about, people should, encouraging people read sciences, read technology for this. Those are the things that are relevant in this digital world and so on. And that is sinking deep into the heads of
There's
the
no
Nigerian
world.
youth?
There's no world that is digital. Can we be more digital than the Japanese? The Japanese took their culture along with their development. Can we be more digitized than the Chinese?
So
The Chinese took their culture along with their development.
That's a misperception of.
Yeah, it's a misconception. It's not. It's a wrong. It's a British-oriented perception because they colonized us. It doesn't. Look, the British destroyed our psyche. When you see a woman, you begin to say a slim woman is the ideal woman. No, the African psyche about beauty is a plumpy woman, not a slim woman. We are created to be plumpy. So these are the things that the British, the white men destroyed our psyche considerably. Now, let me tell you about culture.
Anyway,
if they taught chemistry and physics in our language, we will know the application better than we do now. When they took Orthodox medicine to China, Chinese said, no, we have our own natural and cultural mode of medicine, which is acupuncture. Today, acupuncture is the love of the world. Be proud in what you have. The first way to defeat yourself by yourself is not to understand yourself and appreciate your culture by yourself. You become a second fiddle all over the world. That's why a Nigerian man goes to England and he begins to feel like he should be a British and speak phonetics. And you speak American English because you want to behave like an American. You are not an American, you are not a British, you are Yoruba, you are Hausa, you are Fulani, you are Idoma, you are Tiv, you are whatever, and be that. I have never worn a shirt in the last 30 years of my life.
Wow, that's serious. Okay, before we continue, this is a very interesting conversation. But before we continue, we'll take a little break now so that you just take a breather, and then we'll continue. Stay with us as we take this break. Now, welcome back to On the Spot. We are discussing culture, and I'm here with someone who is really into culture. He's a traditional title holder, and he speaks more of culture. Okay, let's continue. We are talking about the conception, the perception, and so on.
Our training ground can train. We have campuses in Ogbomoso, Abuja, Lagos, and Cross River. The governor of Cross River gave us a space. We wrote to all the governors. Only the Cross River governor really reacted and gave us a space. We're going to use that as a campus. The Oba of Ogbomoso, Shon of Ogbomoso, gave us a space. We're going to use it for a campus. And that's exactly what it is.
Okay, you just talked about writing to governors, and then you can see the reaction there. Is there a need for a national policy that will make everybody commit to promoting culture?
It's long overdue. And unless we do that, make cultural appreciation a compulsory issue among the people, we can't progress. See, let me give you a typical example. The Ministry of Works, Nigeria spends huge amount of money building infrastructure, bridges, flyover. By the night, the people who are not culturally upright, they go there and remove it and they use it to manufacture spoons. Because we do not have the right cultural upbringing. Our cultural value had eroded everywhere. Everywhere is now a thief. Everybody is a thief. In those days, you put your goods in the marketplace, you are not there. Whoever liked whatever you put there, we buy, take money, put money on it, and go. I saw that as far back as 1968. I saw that. That Tinubu Square in Lagos, people will park their cars there as a 1968-69. They will park their cars there, leave the key on the ignition, go and buy, go around, come back, kick and go. That's when our cultural value was still very high. It was a criminal offense to steal. We lost the cultural value, we lost everything. A young man, a gate man wants to be richer than the man that has employed him. And everybody that's come to see his master, he wants to take a bribe from them. That's how badly we have degenerated without cultural value. So, what should we do?
What we should do?
We want to mount a campaign. My institute is interested in mounting a campaign on bring back our cultural value. Budget has always been an issue. But if not, that is exactly what we need to do now. Once the cultural value returns, peace will return. The issues of Boko Haram, bandits, and kidnappers, they are as a result of loss of cultural value. Most of those people that are slaughtering people are not Nigerians. And that is exactly the point.
That's what I'm talking about. You see, these cultures are domiciled in states. And it's surprising that, let me call them out, state governors who this is their culture, they don't promote it. We used to have cultural festivals in so many states. In some states now, I'm a chief person from Benue State. I can't remember the last time. I know when I was a kid.
Your governor is a Christian. He's a reverend for that matter. So what do you expect him to do?
We used to have an annual Thief Day. That was when a lot of things, as a young person coming up, I saw it and admired it. But for a very long time, in short, my kids don't know that. They have never seen much of our cultural heritage.
You see, because the man who's been converted to Christianity and Islam cannot distinguish between those religions and his own culture. So therefore, culture to him is voodoo, is an antisocial practice that does not conform with with today's exposure. That's the thinking. Whereas, without developing your culture, you can't develop your nation. You can't even develop yourself. So, let us start from that training ground that we have created, Nigerian Academy for Cultural Studies. If we have good budget to put it all around every state in Nigeria. I don't blame the state governors that didn't respond to us. They don't see culture as an important issue. They do not have the right orientation to understand that culture propels a nation. So, I don't blame them.
We should be talking about reorientation. The psyche. From what the conversation we're having here, it's more of the psyche. It is.
That's why we need to mount a serious campaign.
The institute, I believe the institute should be targeting, working on the psyche of Nigerians.
Yes.
Give us an insight on what is down there. What kind of mechanism do you have there?
The greatest mechanism to spread an ideology is education. Everything you know, every ideology you know today, whether it's Karl Marx, whether it's Pluto, whether it's Plato, whether it's whatever you call it, is because you studied philosophy and Latin, probably. So, our NACOS, our Nigerian Academy for Cultural Study, is something that the Nigerian nation should take seriously. We can't move any further without culture. We can't move. We will deceive ourselves for many more years. So, how did we then work around these issues? The legislators, the judiciary officers, diplomats, we have a program carved for them called Cultural Orientational Retreats, whereby the cultures of Nigeria are x-rayed to help them in the execution of their jobs. So we've written to different people from SGF to Senate President to Speaker of the House of Reps to say, let your officers, let your elected members come for this orientational retreat so that we can judge on our culture and give them an idea of what the culture of Nigeria is all about. Once you know the culture, you begin to respect people's culture. The moment you respect other people's culture, you get the best from them. You can make good laws for them. So those are the things we are doing in that respect to ensure that we bring back our cultural value and our culture is respected all over again.
It's unfortunate we are pressed for time, so we have to stop here. I must thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Executive Secretary, National Institute for Cultural Orientation, Nicole.
Thank you very much.
Otunba Biodun Ajiboye.
Thank you very much.
I have to put the
nice to be here.
There. Thank you so much for being on the spot.
My pleasure.
All right, thank you to viewer for joining us. It was interesting. Your culture is your first identity. See you next time.